November 1st, All Saints Day, at West Point for the Army Air Force game. Hey Bob, look, national champs, women's pistol, men's team. Somebody won an Olympic gold medal doing this stuff. Okay, we're on the West Point grounds. And we've got a helicopter coming in. Obviously some distinguished visitor is making his way. I can't see where he's landing, unfortunately. Obviously over near the superintendent's house. And it is about 8 o'clock, an hour before the review will begin. Okay, looking out onto the Anderson Rugby Stadium, heading back to the amphitheater. Beautiful colors today. Cross, big monument, top of Trophy Point. Now this came from over here, taking that picture, looking out onto the Hudson. We have this monument dedicated to the soldiers who fell in the War of the Rebellion. Sylvania there, I think. Oh no, this is not. This is a statue to John Sedgwick, who was the Major General who fell in the Battle of Spotsylvania in 1864. Courageous guy, obviously.
Brief history of the actions you will observe on the plane today. Military drill plays a fundamental role in the history of soldiering. Drill prepared troops for battle, and for the most part, drill procedures used in the days of old copied actual battlefield maneuvers. It was this realistic aspect of drill that made it such an important part of training. Even today, as new weapons call for new tactics, drill remains a necessary and useful training activity. Over 200 years ago, the problem of training an army already at war confronted the founders of our nation. Suffering from lack of organization, discipline, and teamwork, George Washington's Continental Army continually lost to superior British forces. Washington recognized the poor state of morale and hired a distinguished Prussian officer who specialized in the instruction of drill and discipline. Baron von Steuben arrived at Valley Forge in the winter of 1778 to face an army of several thousand half-starved, ragged men. He immediately set to work writing drill regulations for a company of 120 soldiers, chosen from various units in the Continental Army. Discipline soon became the cornerstone of military life for the soldiers of the model company as they learned to obey commands without hesitation. By mastering the art of drill through teamwork, the men developed a collective sense of pride in themselves and their unit. Observers watching the model company were astonished to see how quickly and orderly the troops formed and maneuvered into different battle formations. Later, General Washington distributed the members of the model company throughout the Army to teach what they had learned. Through this simple emphasis on drill, the effectiveness and efficiency of the Continental Army greatly improved. In 1779, to ensure continuity and uniformity, von Steuben wrote the American Army's first field manual, The Regulations for the Order and Discipline of Troops of the United States, commonly referred to as the Blue Book. To this day, cadet regulations are still referred to as the Blue Book. In fact, some of von Steuben's procedures will be demonstrated during the parade today. You will see cadets saluting throughout the review on the command of Present Arms. Since the earliest of times, men of arms have used some form of salute as a means of greeting one another. In the age of chivalry, horse-mounted knights wore steel armor which completely covered the face and body. When two friendly knights met, they would each lift their visors with their right hand to expose their faces to each other and use their left hand to hold the horse's reins. Not only did this allow the knights to recognize each other, but it was also a deliberate movement of their sword hand away from their swords. Over time, this action became a significant gesture of friendship, camaraderie, and respect. The act of raising the right hand to the visor continued even after steel body armor became obsolete with the invention of modern firearms. Today, the most commonly observed form of this exchange is the hand salute. It is given as recognition and friendly greeting to a comrade in the honorable profession of arms. The cadets marching onto the plane are members of the Black Knight Drill Team. The drill team's history spreads over 20 years. In 1985, 4th class cadets formed the drill team to promote the discipline of exhibition drill. The team uses the M1903 Springfield rifle, which weighs approximately 9 pounds. High levels of training, focus, and teamwork are critical for successful performance. Members of the drill team practice throughout the week, in addition to their normal cadet duties. The drill team is commanded by Cadet Andrew Hill from San Antonio, Texas. The executive officer is Cadet Derek DeBrule from Davie, Florida. The drill team regularly competes in various regional and national competitions. They are known for consistently placing in the top 3 at these events. These competitions draw teams from institutions such as Norwich University, Texas A&M, and the other service academies.
Hello? Yeah. Yeah, we're at the parade. Yeah, up by,
The drill team will now perform their signature and most dangerous maneuver. The cadets in the center will throw their rifles over their shoulders to the cadets behind. This maneuver is known as the front to rear overhead rifle toss. Ladies and gentlemen, the United States Military Academy Drill Team.
Great job, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's performance by the United States Military Academy Drill Team. Military Academy Band and the band's field music group, the Hellcats. The presence of the band on the plane today represents the significant role that musical instruments have played throughout recorded history for signaling in camp and on the battlefield.
Okay, the new library. The edge of the new library is sitting right behind them.
The bugle call just heard was attention. It is used to alert the cadet commanders that adjutant's call is about to sound, signaling the start of the review. Bugle calls were used in the military service of the United States as a direct result of the contact the Continental Army had with European soldiers and armies during the Revolutionary period. Marching in today's parade are cadets from allied nations enrolled in the 4-year program at the United States Military Academy. Upon graduation, they will serve in the armed forces of their respective countries. There are currently 57 allied cadets representing 36 different countries as members of the Corps Cadets. Also marching today's review are exchange midshipmen from the United States Naval Academy and exchange cadets from the United States Air Force and Coast Guard academies. They are attending West Point for the fall semester. They can be identified by the uniform of their respective academies. A similar number of West Point cadets are attending the other service academies for the same period. The march that will be played as the cadets march onto the plane is the Standard of St. George. For today's review, spectators are reminded to stand and render appropriate courtesies for honors, our national anthem, and when the colors pass your position. At these times, it is appropriate for civilians to stand with the right hand placed over the heart. Veterans and currently serving members of the U.S. Armed Forces who are not in uniform may render the hand salute. Spectators are reminded not to smoke or drink, refrain from loud talking, and to turn off cellular phones during the review. As a courtesy to others seated around you, kindly take all of your pictures from your seat throughout the ceremony. We would also like to remind everyone to please stay off the plane during the review and during the parachute demonstration immediately following. Thank you.
Probably over here to your right, because he's in MacArthur Hall. Actually, that must be a jet of some sort.
The commander of troops for today's ceremony is the brigade commander, 1st Captain Benjamin Amsler from Titusville, Pennsylvania. His staff consists of the brigade executive officer, Cadet Captain Brady Dearden from Princeton Junction, New Jersey, the brigade adjutant, Cadet Captain Rich Kubu from Brookville, Maryland, the brigade communications officer, Cadet Captain Bill Minot from Powell, Tennessee, the brigade academic officer, Cadet Captain Ryan Brown from Nazareth, Pennsylvania, the brigade deputy intelligence officer, Cadet Captain Samantha Turner from Buffalo, New York, the deputy brigade adjutant, Cadet Captain Stephen Astomborski from Niskayuna, New York, and the brigade command sergeant major, Cadet Command Sergeant Major Heretier Diakabana from Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The reviewing party for today's review consists of Admiral Michael Mullen, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff and United States Naval Academy, Class of 1968. Lieutenant General Buster Hagenbeck, Superintendent of the United States Military Academy, Class of 1971. Lieutenant General John Regney, Superintendent of the United States Air Force Academy, Class of 1973. Brigadier General Michael S. Linnington, Commandant of the United States Corps Cadets, Class of 1980. And Brigadier General Patrick Finnegan, Dean of the Academic Board, Class of 1971. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for honors and remain standing for the playing of our national anthem. Please feel free to sing along with us as it is played. Please be seated.
D4, F4, G4, H4.
The pass and review serves two functions for the superintendent. It dismisses the cadets and at the same time provides an opportunity to inspect the state of discipline and training. As the cadets pass and review before the reviewing party, members of each unit will turn their head and eyes and salute on the command "Eyes Right." The marches that will be played as the cadets pass and review are America Exultant, Infantry, Kings of the Highway, On Brave Old Army Team, the Air Force Song, and The Army Goes Rolling Along.
Okay, I have to change batteries. The other batteries seem to be dying too quickly.
The United States Military Academy Band is under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Timothy J. Holton with the drum major, Sergeant Major Eric D. Scheffler. The 3rd Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Jacqueline Uhorchak from Cornwall, New York. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Sean Tolliver from Pilot Mountain, North Carolina. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Robert Lee from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Jason Sexton from Creedmoor, North Carolina. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Christopher Chatelier from Irvine, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Dan Firestone from St. Louis, Missouri. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Hampton Ratcliffe from Leicester, North Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Andres Pazmin from Greer, South Carolina. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Eric Korn from Washingtonville, New York. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Riley Foster from Oakdale, California. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Sarah Noreen from Cedar Springs, Michigan. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant David Banis from St. John, Indiana.
He's the 4th one in from the end.
The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Michael Tax from Allentown, Pennsylvania. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Scott Howe from Richmond, Virginia. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain Palme Etchells from Panama City, Florida. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant John Borelli from Cross River, New York. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Jenna Lafferty from Redlands, California. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Nathan Humbert from Jasper, Indiana. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Russell Cowley from Tempe, Arizona. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Edwin Mobley from Beech Grove, Indiana. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Clay Woody from Hayesville, North Carolina. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Tony Nash from Buffalo, New York. Since the days of the American Revolution, flag bearers have been an important element in ceremonies. At the center of today's formation, and bearing the national color, is the United States Corps of Cadets Color Guard, led by Cadet Color Sergeant Christopher McCole from River Forest, Illinois. The 4th Regiment is commanded by Cadet Captain Ty Volkman from Swanee, Georgia. The Regimental Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Brandon Quintana from Queens, New York. The 1st Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Ben Agnor from College Station, Texas. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Tanisha Wright from Las Vegas, Nevada. Company A is commanded by Cadet Captain Aaron McQuarrie from Kingwood, Texas. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Tobin Marks from Whitehall, Montana. Company B is commanded by Cadet Captain Joe Marshall from Boyers, Pennsylvania. The 1st Sergeant is Cadet 1st Sergeant Tyler Gordy from Newcastle, California. Company C is commanded by Cadet Captain Jared McCleary from Stowe, Ohio. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Kendall Poling from Ellicott City, Maryland. Company D is commanded by Cadet Captain Nate Coons from Oskaloosa, Iowa. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant David Matoy from Kent, Washington.
It should be.
The 2nd Battalion is commanded by Cadet Captain Lucas Gebhardt from Laconia, New Hampshire. The Battalion Command Sergeant Major is Cadet Command Sergeant Major Dave Finkel from Longmont, Colorado. Company E is commanded by Cadet Captain William Treadway from Houston, Texas. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Robin Swan from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Company F is commanded by Cadet Captain Jessica Riley from Annapolis, Maryland. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Brad Davis from Williamsburg, Virginia. Company G is commanded by Cadet Captain Darren Hidalgo from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Alex Kearns from Perry, New Hampshire. Company H is commanded by Cadet Captain Dana Gingrich from Rockville, Maryland. The First Sergeant is Cadet First Sergeant Donnie Graves from Wenatchee, Washington. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the playing of the Air Force song and the Army song, "The Army Goes Rolling Along." Please feel free to sing along as they are played. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's review. The Black Knight Walk will start at the fan zone located between gates 1 and 3 of Mikey Stadium at 10 o'clock. Come on up and support the Army football team as they prepare to take on the Falcons of Air Force. Please remain in your seats as the United States Military Academy and the United States Air Force Academy Parachute Teams will now conduct a free-fall demonstration. We would like to remind everyone to please stay off the plane as you exit the parade grounds. Thank you for attending and enjoy the rest of your day. Go Army! Beat Air Force!
Okay, Diana, do you see them?
At the outset of the second half of the 20th century, the new and extreme sport of free-fall parachuting was introduced to the United States by pioneer and visionary Jacques Cousteau. Following a rapid growth in popularity, it soon captured the imagination of West Point Cadet, Penmar Dave Gabriel, class of 1961. After battling Army regulations, garnering support, and learning all he could, in 1958, Cadet Gabriel, along with the founding members such as Fred Terry, Harry Calvin, and R.J. Wooten, initiated the West Point Parachute Club. 50 years later, the West Point Parachute Team has thrived and remains an indelible symbol of the United States Military Academy. Good morning, West Point. Ladies and gentlemen, your attention please. This 16 parachutists representing 50 years of the Black Knights Parachute Team prepare to exit our DHC-6 twin-otter aircraft at an altitude of 10,000 feet. How about some encouragement for today's jumpers? My name is Cadet Orlando Zambrano from Tampa, Florida. I'm a member of Company A4, and I have the privilege of narrating for you today a demonstration of precision free-fall accuracy performed by your West Point Parachute Team, the Black Knights. In the interest of safety, please refrain from walking onto the plane until the demonstration is complete. The demonstration you're about to witness is an historic one for the Black Knights. Not only does it represent the largest demonstration in team history, but more importantly, it serves as a salute to all those who have contributed to the continued success of the Black Knights as we celebrate our 50th anniversary. This show has been designed to show you the maneuverability of the human body while flying through the skies at speeds in excess of 120 miles per hour, as well as the precise canopy piloting skills possessed by these jumpers. The jumpers will perform 3 separate maneuvers for you today. For the first performance of today's show, you will see 6 jumpers exit the otter in succession at an altitude of 10,000 feet. They will then form one of the many formations possible in freefall and fall thousands of feet until they break off and deploy their parachutes. They will then be followed by a 2-way formation that will rotate while trailing smoke, resulting in a barber pole effect thousands of feet high, as experienced freefall photographer Laszlo Andax documents the jump. On the second pass, you will witness the demanding bomb burst maneuver where 6 jumpers will exit the aircraft at an altitude of 10,000 feet with freefall videographer Sonic in hot pursuit. They will fly their bodies like high-performance aircraft to come together in a 6-way star and then fly their bodies apart, simulating a bomb burst while demonstrating the incredible amount of lateral separation possibly achieved in freefall. We are 1 minute from exiting the Otters on jump run. Today's jump master, Cadet Brandon Quintana, is communicating with the jumpers through a series of hand and arm signals known as jump commands. His head is out in the wind and the cold as he gives the pilots position adjustments to ensure the proper exit point. You can hear the Otter flying across the sky as the jumpers wait for the exit command from the jump master. Stand by. Difficult to see at 10,000 feet, the Otter is currently directly above the soup spot.
Directly above us, I can see it.
Hey, it's over there.
No, it's over here, Ben. Straight up.
The jumpers have exited the aircraft and will be in freefall for approximately 35 seconds, reaching speeds of 120 miles per hour. These jumpers will fly their bodies using their hands, arms, legs, and shoulders as flight controls. They watch for the signal from the team leader for when to deploy their parachutes.
Already coming down. I can't see anything.
The 2-way's out and the smoke is on. That's your barber pole, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, I see some smoke.
The 6-way is breaking.
Oh man, look at this. Wow. Okay. Okay, I see them.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for 9 good canopies.
Oh man, shaking. So annoying. Okay, they're gonna try to bring them together.
At 1,000 feet, the jumper does what is called a penetration check, checking his distance and speed across the ground. He then flies a downwind leg, a base leg, which is 90 degrees to the target, and then faces the wind for a final approach. The first jumper is the team's current officer in charge, representing all former team members, Major Jonathan Dunn, a veteran of 3,200 jumps. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Major John Dunn. Next, inhaling from Sauk Center, Minnesota, is Assistant OIC Major Katie Blue, representing all the officers, past and present, to give their time to assist the Black Knights. Today, these officers include Captain Jason Lauer, Colonel Tom Kolitz, and Colonel Kevin Huggins. Now this is Cadet Trey Extreme Wheeler from Enid, Oklahoma, member of Company E2, today making his 253rd jump. Get up for Trey, ladies and gentlemen. Today, Major Blue is making her 1,070th skydive. Following Trey is Cadet Matthew Joseph Bland from Reading, PA, a member of Company H4. Today, Matt is making his 256th skydive. High above, the second pass is up, and the smoke is on as the 6-way bomb burst falls through the sky. Now on landing is videographer Laszlo Andax. Give it up for our civilian videographers, ladies and gentlemen. High above, the bomb burst is falling through thousands of feet and will prepare to break at 5,000 feet of altitude. On final approach now is Cadet Zane Wiley from Warner Robins, Georgia, member of Company D1. He follows in the footsteps of the elder Wiley brother, and today is making his 254th jump. Give it up for him, ladies and gentlemen.
Here we go, let's throw a couple more. 3 more, actually.
Next on final approach is Sergeant Tom Melton, representing the military and civilian rigger communities, as well as all the NCO coaches that have made the team a success over the years. That's Sergeant Tom Melton, ladies and gentlemen. On fall approach now is Cadet Zach Wiley from Warner Robins, Georgia. Back from semester in Egypt, Zach is a member of Company B1, and this is his 545th jump. That's a beautiful target area landing. Following Zach is Cadet Brian Donnelly from North Adams, Massachusetts, member of C2 with extensive international jumping experience, and that's a beautiful on-target landing.
Good job, guys.
Today's Black Knights still embody the adventurous, daring, and competitive spirit that defined the early members of the team.
Whoa.
Though much has changed over the last 50 years, today they still possess the love of the sport that inspired the original 12 members of the Black Knights. Among those in attendance today are Mr. Gabe Gabriel, Mr. Jack Estelle, and storied and legendary skydiver Coach Tom Falzone, as well as former team members from the 1950s to the present. Ladies and gentlemen, show your appreciation for these pioneers. Now on final approach is professional videographer Sonic from the Blue Sky Ranch, coming in on a swoop. Get up for Sonic, ladies and gentlemen, a veteran of over 6,500 jumps. All the members of the Black Knights, past, present, and future, owe a great debt to the effort of Gabe Gabriel and the other pioneers of the sport at the Academy. Through their hard work, dedication, and love of skydiving, they're responsible for providing you with the opportunity of seeing today's demonstration. Happy 50th anniversary, Black Knights. In addition, the team would like to thank all the groups and organizations that have provided canopies to the Black Knights over the years. These include the Directorate of Cadet Activities, the Scoutmasters Council, the classes of 1977, 1978, 1985, 1986, 2008.
Wow.
Now on final approach is your team captain, stack leader, Cadet Philip Daniel Dubinsky from Alpharetta, Georgia, a member of Company E2. This is Phil's 614th jump. Heading for the corner of the plane and following Phil is Cadet Hunter, the champ Thornall from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, a member of Company E3. This marks Hunter's 598th jump.
Oh boy. We got this statue, I think.
Guiding his canopy, the plane left is Cadet Roy Ragsdale from West Point, New York, a member of Company H4. Roy's making his 531st jump.
Oh boy. He's on the baseball field. Okay, good job.
Right on the pitcher's mound, ladies and gentlemen.
Excellent. Come on, guys. Uh-oh. I think he's going to go for the baseball field. Otherwise, he'd end
Also
up
heading for the pitcher's mound is Cadet Brian Quintana from Queens, New York.
Right. Okay. We got one more now. Shows you how tough it is.
Coming on final now on the plane is Cadet Brian Dumphy from Columbia, South Carolina, member of Company D3. This marks his 550th skydive. Bring him in, ladies and gentlemen. Help him up. Help him out against that wind. That's Brian Dumphy, ladies and gentlemen. And headed down to the river courts. Cadet Andrew Gongaware. Let's give our jumpers another round of applause for a job well done. This concludes this afternoon's demonstration. Please come out to the plane to meet the jumpers, and on behalf of the Black Knights Parachute Team, thank you for being such a warm and receptive audience. Blue skies, happy 50th anniversary, and go Army, beat Air Force.
Hi, guys.
We certainly will.
There we go. Got two cadets who are now Army officers in Iraq. What are your kids' names?
Kimberly and Michael.
Kimberly and Michael.
Captain Kimberly and Captain Michael Tully.
Excellent.
We miss you.
Excellent.
We're here.
Okay,
See you soon.
excellent, guys. I'll make sure this gets out there so they can see it from Baghdad.
Guys.
Thank you so much.
Listen, do you have a card?
Absolutely.
Business card. Does he have a business card? Do you have a business card? Okay, that's it. Beautiful day. You know, I hope that girl's okay. Landed down on the near the river.
Oh yeah. She'll probably land on the river.
All right, great shot of this cadet.
No, I know it's in my
Okay. It's going.
Perfect. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay, Victoria, get in there.
So you want to show you how it works? Alright, so this down here, this is the part you wear. It goes on just like a regular backpack with some leg.
Mommy, Diana?
So these are the leg straps, and then it goes on. You got a chest strap, so that's to make sure it stays on when you pull it. Because when you pull it, it's got a little bit of a pull to it. You're falling about 120 miles an hour.
What's in the back?
No, this one right
Just
here.
like
This is the reserve parachute, just in case this one doesn't open. So yep. And so then these here. This
Hey,
all
get me
up
your business
goes
card.
canopy. Right here you have your.
I'll get you a
steering and
copy of the
lines.
tape.
So Yep. Yep. That's how we land on the X most of the time. Most of the time. The winds were a little high today, so. But right, so you have these two lines here, which they connect to the back of the parachute. So if you pull one, it'll go one way. If you pull the other, it'll go the other way. If you pull them both, it'll slow you down, and you can come straight down. Right here, this is the slider. And all this does is it starts up at the top. So when you pull it, it makes the canopy kind of smaller, and then as it comes down, it widens. Because if it opened all at once, it'd be kind of hard and hurt a little bit. So you go up, you have the lines. You have 4 sets of lines that go across, and they're just in the front, then the middle 2, and then the back ones. And then this is the parachute. It's turned on its side right now. So if you can imagine this is the front, it would be, if we turned it, it'd be face down.
Class of 1986, apparently.
This canopy was donated from the class of 1986. So basically, they buy us a canopy and we put their name on it. And we jump into like the stadium and stuff.
Have you jumped into the stadium?
No, not yet. Next year.
Oh, is that what you?
Take to jump into the stadium?
It's you have to have 500 jumps and a pro rating, which basically means that for 10 jumps in a row that you declare, you have to land within a 10-meter circle.
Oh, so certain.
Right.
Because the thing is narrow, right?
Right. So like you have to prove that you can do it.
And?
So they have a target.
Wow, Mike.
So this up here is the parachute.
Right near the stand, where the seats are.
The air can kind of go through and it goes through the front and out the back. That's basically it. Up here, this all gets folded up and put into this little bag. And then right here, this is what we call the pilot parachute.
Now that little bag helps the.
Right, well, that you put it in there so it fits into the.
Oh, I see.
Down there.
Okay.
What this is this is called a pilot parachute.
Yep.
And it's it gets folded up and tucked away and put in the bottom. And this little handle is how you kind of pull your parachute. Basically, you throw this out. This catches wind, and the wind will pull this whole thing out. And basically, this is folded up and held in by little rubber bands, which the lines kind of just slide right at them, and it opens up.
Beautiful.
That's how it works.
Beautiful. Thank you very much.
How many
Cadet
jumps do these
Golan,
last?
what's your first name again?
Christopher.
Christopher. Thank you, sir.
How many jumps do these usually last, provided you don't get like...
Hey, Dad. Nice going.
Hundreds.
Oh, good. Excellent. She is. Hey, Michael Nilsen. You're looking very distinguished here in your...
Not really.
Now, do all cadets wear this hat with the... Vicky, you're giving him rabbit ears. West Point cadets are not supposed to have rabbit ears.
They're all in this uniform in the parade.
Oh, everybody was.
I mean, I thought you told you.
Okay. Mike Nielsen, E4, Elvis lives. Okay. Okay, his brother. Carlos Fernandez or Hernandez? Hernandez. Hello, Carlos. It's a pleasure to see you.
I think they send like mask cards and stuff.
It takes them a lot of their time. Plus, have to stay physically fit. Plus, have to do all their work. So, and just get on the team is ridiculous.
Okay, here's Mommy with her baby, the oldest boy, Michael Nielsen. Okay, guys, wave. Okay. Hey, beautiful view here today. Beautiful view up the river. I got it, kid.
I want to run down the hill.
Okay, go ahead, Vicky. Oh, there it is. Nice stiff breeze. Beautiful day. Okay, so there they go. Vicky wants to run down the hill towards the amphitheater. Uh-oh, here she goes. Running down the hills towards the amphitheater. Last time she did this, she fell. It is beautiful weather. What colors? Running out of tape here.